What's going on? This is Brianna and it is day 5, our last day of our video series, and I hope you received value from this so far. I really hope that this served you, and I hope that this put into perspective just how much of life and really how simple it is to live a different way of life, a life that is, relatively stress-free. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that, when you are free, you're not going to have your hiccups and, your everyday life things, but living a life that's free of stress and where you're generating daily income, independent from time, where you've followed a system and you've plugged in and you've gone about and you've gone through the training and you understand that there really are only a couple of steps that you have to do daily in order to make massive income results. Now, obviously, there are no incomes guaranteed. As I've said before, see ipassearnings.com. But, I really want to take a second to just hopefully reiterate that it really is simple to live a life beyond your wildest dreams. And, maybe a life beyond your wildest dreams is just stressing less. I think that, when I got started, I was a burnt out high school student and high school, college student. And, then when I really got started and became successful and really made the decision to make this my primary focus, I was a burnt out corporate American worker. I worked at a medical facility. So I went from high school to right into the workforce, just because I needed a job, right? But this was always my dream. But when I made the decision to actually live my dream, when I made the decision to go forth and embrace this new life of freedom, it was really easy for me to do. And I believe that it can be this easy and this stress-free and this blissful for everybody else who's watching this video, for everybody who's watching this video. So with that, I want to take you on to video 5, and I won't promise that this one won't be as long as the last one, but I really wanted to nail home, living through your passion. But this video is going to be about, seeing the world through the eyes of a child, like seeing the world through, it's this place of beauty and wonder that I think that the media has shoved down our throats, that it's, scary and negative and everybody's out to get you. And it's not, and here's a perfect example of this. If you hold up your hand in front of you, unless you're an artist or, a photographer or somebody or a sculptor, you look at this. I have a hair stuck to my hand. You look at this and all you see is a hand. But when you really take a second to look at all of the creases, all the crevices, it really is kind of a beautiful work of art within itself. And when you take the time to just appreciate just how much little detail is in the world around you, you start to slow down and realize that life and people and circumstances, and nobody's really out to get you. They're all just trying to go about their life and provide for their family. And if they're grumpy, that's only because that they've been exposed to grumpy things. If they're upset and miserable, that's only because they've been exposed to upset and miserable people. You don't know what's going on in somebody's home life, and you don't know what's going on in somebody's work life, where there's a hummingbird outside my window. A little bit of a pattern interrupt there. But that's the kind of thing that you get to experience when, you're home at, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday. It's those little things that, make life so magical. It's seeing the hummingbirds outside. It's going outside and experiencing nature. And it's being, well, it's just being, isn't it? I don't believe that any person was put on the planet to stress and freak out and, have to get everything accomplished, because that's what I was. I was so stressed, strung out, AP student, then stressed out, corporate burnout, and it was never felt right for me, running around pretending something that I wasn't for people who didn't really care about me in the long run anyway. And I think that when you go about and you start seeing the world in a new place of wonder and experience. And you may be thinking, oh my God, I don't have time to sit there and look at my hand. You know what I mean? But I'm just like 30 seconds. Just take 30 seconds every single day and just genuinely appreciate its beauty. It could be the back of your hand, it could be your lover, it could be your husband or wife, it could be your child, it could be one of your parents. Just take the second to appreciate that it's a part of this planet, whether it's mechanical or physical or spiritual. It's a part of this planet, and it was once a thought. And from that thought, it became a physical reality. And that's pretty beautiful, just in itself. And if you're wondering how you're going to go about and, trying to figure out how, these things are, pretty and not, and, whatever, and you're probably thinking, I don't have time for that. Well, here's a thought, and here's what I had to do. I took a negativity detox. I cut out the news. I stopped reading newspapers. I stopped reading, magazines like People and US Weekly and, Cosmopolitan magazine. I cut all of that negative BS out, and I started filling my mind with successful people and successful books and successful audios and music that made me feel good, not music that was socially acceptable to listen to. Because frankly, I don't like, popular culture music. I'm more of a classical music person myself, but I'm a classically trained vocalist, so it's just what I like, But I took this time, and there goes the hummingbird again. I took the time that I would usually play music or NPR in the car or at work or anything else like that. I took that time and I replaced it with audiobooks and motivation and inspiration to people who have done more with their life than I had then. And when I did that, I was able to say, hey, you know what? Life is as beautiful as these people are saying. Life is about more. There are things to be grateful for, even if, it seems like your world is falling apart around you. I get it. I was there. But when you take the time to focus on something and see the world through the eyes of, through your wonder eyes, as if you're learning everything for the first time again, it's like you wake up and you experience things the way things are supposed to be experienced. You're present within that moment. You're present with your spouse or your significant other. You're present with your kids. You're present with your parents. And all of a sudden, your life starts to become more abundant and more fulfilled and the more time you spend focusing on the beauty, the more beautiful things come into your life. And the more beautiful things come into your life, the more abundance you have. And with that, I hope this video series served you. If you haven't gotten started with us by now, then I highly recommend to click the button below and get started with us, because all of the things that I've learned and I've been teaching you, I learned through the people that I was exposed to when I got started with this industry. So hit the button below and get started with us. And live your life from a place of purpose. Live your life from a place of passion. Live your life